We are called James Pirrie, an established independent retailer in St Andrews that has been here since 1890.
Well, we've only been running, 2.5 years? So yeah, we're still a fairly small one.
We have been open for about 5 weeks, and me and my partner have never done anything to do with retail before.
Fisher & Dawes is a family business which was started round about the turn of the last century by my great uncle. This is our 5th generation.
My name's Bill Anderson and we've been here 28 years, the shop. I've done the stall for 34, 35 years.
My name is Tony Fusaro. My business or businesses are Louvian's Ice Cream Parlour and Louvian's Bottle Shop.
I was a St Andrews student, so that's how I came to the town, and I worked here when I was a student and then didn't stop basically. So I came out, became manager. I've been manager for about 6 years now, I think.
Born Son Chan, I am. My father owns the restaurant, Chinese restaurant here since the 1992.
Lindsay's had the shop for 20-30 years now. We've got probably about 9 members of staff, some are full-time, some are part-time. We also have a web business, and that's pretty much it.
When we started there were 6 independent bookshops and we're the only one left because everyone's died or retired or gone on to the internet.
St Andrews has changed drastically in terms of shops in that the privately owned shops are basically trickling away to the multis, to pension funds, to insurance companies, to investment companies.
It's a bit of a shame almost. We've lost some of the shops that were really useful, things like the art and music shop, Woolworths, those sort of things, and we've got a lot more touristy shops.
There are of course a hugely reduced amount of owner-occupied shops, and there are many more chains, and the face of business is much more impersonal than it was previously.
There's a heck of a lot of coffee shops, but there's very few little specialist small shops in comparison to what there used to be, and now there are about 6 empty shops, which is quite sad, and that's because the rates are too high.
We don't have so many independent retailers just now due to the fact of the cost of the rates in St Andrews and also rent. Luckily we own this building and therefore we just have the rates to pay, but no rent to pay. So you find that a lot of independent retailers who have great ideas move into the town and then within a year or 2 they've gone.
Rates here are extortionate and you have to be a business that makes a lot of money to survive.
One thing is the land council tax. Land tax is really high here. So if a restaurant or shops is not doing so great, it will be very difficult for them to keep the business running due to these heavy running costs.
I think it's probably more difficult because, rates and rents are so high, and I think people's perception as well, customer service, people expect much better customer service than they used to as well. So you can't just stand behind the till and take money anymore like you used to.
Well, number one in today's day and age either requires capital if you want to purchase your own premises, or you have to be prepared to shoulder the burden of a rent, but when you're doing that you're in direct competition with national chains, and basically if you're not prepared to put in a minimum of 60-70 hours a week, well, in that case it's pointless.
We bought our shop 28 years ago but we couldn't afford to rent it now, and a lot of these shops, like places in Bell Street, 35,000 a year rent and rates and things, that's a lot to find. It's a lot to find before you start making money.
People will always move here and always start up a new business thinking that everybody's been waiting for this, and they may have great ideas but you see them just declining because of the cost.
I wouldn't want to be your age and trying to make even a teaching salary out of it, but it's fine for retirement. It's therapeutic,
Running your own shop in St Andrews has never been easy, I don't suppose, and I don't suppose it's any easier nowadays, but then I don't suppose it's any more difficult. People have much greater aspirations nowadays, and even shop owners have greater aspirations.
We're actually selling up at the moment. I'm probably aiming to be off sort of late summer, just because it's been such a good experience, but it is extremely hard work all the time, and I think I kind of want a real job where they're going to be like, here's your wages every month, off you go, love.
Maybe you've got to have much broader knowledge. You've got to be responsible for health and safety, you've got to be responsible for human resources, whereas generally in a bigger sort of multiple you would have different departments. I suppose you've got less security as well. I mean, your shop has to perform, and if it doesn't, there's nobody else to kind of bail you out or help you out.
You're up against your chain stores who will always move into a bustling town, especially with the student population, especially with the tourism we have. The other thing we have is an extraordinary number of charity shops, and they are selling new product and yet they pay half rates.
The economic crisis is such because it has an effect on all businesses. Any business that sits up and pats themselves on the back and says it has not affected me, they must look at their business carefully, because if there is an economic crisis, well, there is an economic crisis.
We've been really lucky because most of our trade is students, and it's not really affected students, so it's not really affected us.
It's actually been quite positive for us. I think a lot of people have gone for sort of staycations, as we call it. You know, they've just gone for day trips or stayed in Scotland. So we had an incredibly good summer last year.
We're definitely quieter because of it. I mean, when it first was announced on the news, we thought we didn't think, we knew it would be later in Scotland.
I would say that we probably had quite a good year last year. It depends with second-hand books what you bought in. You know, you can sell, if I could buy 1,000 Jane Austen, I could sell 1,000 Jane Austen.
It has affected our business a little, but St Andrews is so well insulated from the economic malaise that exists in the rest of Scotland and indeed the UK that it really hasn't made an awful lot of difference.
I think a lot of it is to do with the prices our hotels charge as well. I mean, I just can't understand how people are expected to pay that for a hotel room and then shop as well.
I don't see rents or rates falling, which I think means everybody is going to have to work harder to stay put.
I think people are scared and they'll have to knock the rates and the rents. Landlords must not be so greedy.
It's weird, there's the businesses here that have been here forever and I think will be here forever, but there seems to be quite a high turnover at the moment, and I hope that settles down.
I mean, that's McGregor's gone. It's a bit of bad news for us because it was quite good having them across the road from us, and there's an awful lot of empty units, and I think St Andrews has to maintain independence and lots of shops for people to come to.
Unfortunately, I see it becoming more a town full of chain stores. I believe, I don't know if it's true or not, but I believe that they are allowed to terminate their contract of renting at maybe a shorter notice than an independent would.
Unfortunately, I think that the progression towards fewer and fewer owned and run shops will carry on.
It's a horrible ending.